Welcome back, Cartel. I have a really cool guest today. His name is Dacien Xavier Beyer, and he is a fellow coworker of mine, shush shush, and also a little bit of an artist, an aspiring musician. Dacien, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just got off a shift and just chilling, just chilling out. I've been trying to write more music recently, but I got myself in a little rut right now. You know,
Are you having like writer's block or something, or
it's writer's block, and then I don't know, like I'm overthinking everything. So I'm like in my head, I'm like, I know I have to produce, I have to mix this, I have to, and a lot of those things I don't have the tools for necessarily. You know what I mean? It's relying on friends or people who know how to mix and master, edit those.
right?
I don't like going on social media very much. I don't like going on there and pushing my stuff, promoting and things like that. So that holds me back from just making the music, you know? It's like in the back of my mind, it's like, oh, I know I'm not going to release this, so I don't even bother getting into it. But
Do you find that when you're in like you're in the middle of writing a song and you're like, I don't like this, and you just fucking scrap it?
oh man, if you go through my notes, dude, my notes are like you could scroll forever, you know? It just and
Right.
yeah, I want to say 90% of the songs I write in my notes are will never get released. I've never recorded them. Um, because I don't know, like I'm really self-conscious about it. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to it. So
Sure.
like if I hear something off, if my voice isn't right, I'm like, okay, time to re-record the whole thing. And then by the time I get around to re-recording the whole thing, I have a new song that I'm up and interested about. So I end up just passing it and letting it go along.
No,
Um,
I know that feeling, man. I was in the same boat quite a while ago when I was writing music. I was like really into writing music, and then there would be so many songs that I would just be like that I wouldn't complete, and I'd be really into it, but then I'd be like, I don't know where else to go with this one. And then another one, I'd be like, this sucks. I don't like it. And I don't want to improve on it because it sucks so bad.
yep.
You know what I mean? It's like there's so many different ideas that come into my consciousness, but then I'm just like, fuck it. Sometimes I hum into my voice recorder on my phone,
Yep.
and then so I could just at least remember the melody, and then I can like transfer it over to guitar or keyboards or something. And then, but even still, it's like, nope, don't like it.
No, I know what you mean. I do the exact same thing. I do the humming thing and trying to remember melodies. Sometimes I don't, thinking I'm gonna remember the melody, and that's the worst. When you have like a whole song written out and you're like, I have no idea how I sang this in my head, and it sounds
Right.
horrible without that melody. So I'm like, just scrap the whole damn song. All my friends are on my ass about like just even if it doesn't sound perfect to you, just release it, man. Just fucking get it out there at least. You can always
Right.
perfect it later, but I don't know.
It's it's the same thing with this podcast. It's like I I started on my phone and I'm still on my phone doing it. And it doesn't sound the greatest, but I didn't want to wait because I was like, they're just conversations. Does the sound quality really have to be the greatest? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's like, fuck it, I'll just do it, and I started doing it. I haven't stopped, right? And I don't know, I'm kind of poor, so I can't buy a computer. But when I get enough money saved up, then I will and make the show better.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
how who knows how long that'll be, like 400 episodes in or something. I don't know.
you've already gotten the biggest and hardest steps down and by that point. You know what I mean? That's the easiest. Buying a microphone, buying a computer and a camera. I know it's not the easiest, like money wise, but it's the easiest to do. You're clicking a button and it comes to your door. You know what I mean? Where the hard
Right.
part is actually getting into the groove of it. You know what I mean? Like this is my first podcast, so like I'm intimidated. I was intimidated from the whole thing from the beginning of like, damn, like what are we going to talk about for that long? And what happens if I say something that I regret or I don't like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Um, that's the big hump to get over, I feel like. And you've already done.
Well, if you say something that you want it to be edited out,
Yeah.
then I'm not going to edit it
Yeah.
out.
Good. That's the way it should be, right? The conversation at the end of the day. And like the thing is too about these like it's the world that we live in now where it's like if you say something that you might not agree with anymore, you know what I mean, in your past, that's who you are. Like they are
Right.
that and that's who you are for the like if you go back into my old discography on SoundCloud, I still have all my old discography on SoundCloud and some of those songs, man, I was just an angry hormone filled kid. You know what I mean? Like I said some horrible stuff in those songs, but I'm not going to take them down. Like I refuse to take them down from there because it's like that's how you
It's a
see
part of who you are.
exactly. You see the
Yeah.
evolution of somebody and where they've come or how far they've come in both skill and music, but also like their mindset while making the music. So
And guess what? People are allowed to change their mind and their behaviors and their state of mind. Like just because you done something in the past doesn't make you the same fucking person. You know what I mean?
not set in
Like,
stone. Like, I'm
yeah,
23 years old at the end of the day. Like everybody thinks in the moment that they know everything. You know what I mean? I thought I knew everything when I was 18 years old, but
sure.
I'm sure it's the same as you get older and older. Like you always think you know more yesterday, but you learn as you go on. So like eventually, maybe I'll say something in this podcast that in 10 years from now, I'll be like, oh, you know what? I don't agree with that anymore. I changed my mindset on that. And that's beautiful. That's like what life is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. These conversations just happen to be recorded. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, like you said, like ten years down the road, you're like, shit, I wish I didn't say that. But oh well, you know. And spiritually speaking, have you ever heard of the Akashic records?
No, I've never heard of
So the Akashic records are like, it's like in another spiritual realm, I guess you would say, where everything that everybody has ever done or thought of is held in this massive records area. It's like everything is recorded,
that. Mm.
even though we're not recording on a piece of technology. And people have claimed to be able to access that through meditation.
Like things they've said in the past or just from everybody.
Everybody, everything.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's wild.
That is wild to even think about. That breaks my brain a little bit.
I there's things that I've learned in doing this show and learned throughout the years that I don't really agree with, like, and that's why I don't put a label on myself like Christian or Muslim or any kind of religion, because there seems to be sort of a rhetoric or a what do you call it, certain speech patterns or things that people say that are tied into certain religions. Like, for example, when I hear somebody praying that is a Christian, I hear them saying basically the same thing. Like,
100%.
Lord, we just ask you, blah, 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 Lord this, Lord that. We just ask you this. We just pray this, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I feel like that it's not so genuine. And then there's the thing where people say, oh, yeah, the Lord showed me this and the Lord showed me that. It's like, how do you know it was the Lord that showed you? Like, was it maybe not just your own intuition? You
Yeah,
know?
that sparked that up. And me and one of our coworkers today actually had like a long, good conversation about this. I told him I was going to be on the podcast today too. Um, he we were talking about like what he was bringing up a conversation about like afterlife. You know what I mean? Like, how do we know it's like it's so hard for humans just to be like there's nothing
I
after
have, I
all
have
this.
a feeling I know who this is, but keep going.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's it's hard to believe that there's just nothing after life. And I understand that. That's a terrifying thing to think about. You know what I mean? That after this, all of this might mean nothing. Like it's just
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
And I myself, I'm the same with you. I don't like to label, but if I was to label, I would say I'm agnostic because I don't know. You know what I mean? And it's okay
right.
just to not know.
Yeah,
I find when I look at religions, I see them more of a as like a way to get through life, like a way to get from day to day. And for people that may not be able to like afford other coping, like for example therapy or things like that, you know what I mean? And back in the day there was no outlet to that, so you talk to God, to the person that you're gonna go to after life, you know what I mean, that controls everything. I find them like almost like a coping mechanism, and if it helps you, it helps you, you know what I mean? If it helps you be a better person at the end of the day, who am I to
Sure.
who am I to judge who you or what you believe in, or anything like that? So
Oh, absolutely. Like I have wonderful discussions with Christians and Muslims all the same. You know what I mean? Like I can get into their mindset and just have an awesome conversation without judgment or attacking them or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like because that's the last thing I would want. If I was like a Christian or a Muslim, I wouldn't want to be persecuted by anybody.
no.
So why would I persecute them, right?
Oh, 100%. And there's a lot of things that you might even agree with. You know what I mean? Or like, I understand that there might be things that you don't agree with, but like you can take these things from these religions and not, it sounds like building your own, but it's just building your own way of life. You know what I mean? You're like, I'll take this positive thing I've heard from Christianity or Catholicism. And then I've also read some beautiful things about Buddhism. And I take these small things and carry them with me as like a thing to think about when you're like making your next decision in life or whatever it is.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
I was raised Catholic actually. Like that's what, like my whole family wanted me to be, was Catholic growing up. If my grandma knew that I didn't believe in anything necessarily, she would kill me. But um oh
Is
man.
she that deep in the faith or what?
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid and I figured out like shit, I'm depressed. You know what I mean? Like I figured that out. I went to talk to her about it, and some of the coping mechanisms I've been taking weren't as healthy. And she was just like, you know what you need to do? You know where
Right.
this is going. You need to just pray. And I'm like, oh, Grandma, like if only it was that easy. You know what I mean?
I know. I know.
But to her it is.
Uh
Like that's how she copes. That's how she goes on
sure,
with
sure.
it. So who am I to you know what I mean? I don't want to break her heart. So it is what it is. I'll just go along with it and be like, of course, yes, yes, I'll go pray.
Yeah. I would love to believe in like if you were to give your life over to Jesus that everything's just going to magically work out, but it just doesn't work that way.
No, no. I've let him take in
Right.
the wheel a few times and he's crashed. He's crashed a
Right.
couple times. So I don't know. I find I was in that conversation we were talking about like humans and their it's just hard to believe in something that you can't see your senses. You know what I mean? You can't touch, you can't see, you can't smell. Like it's hard to believe in anything like that with no evidence behind
Yeah.
it. And
That's what they call blind faith, right?
blind faith, exactly. Choosing to
Yeah.
put your faith in something that I don't know. I can't get past that hump of like, and it's even with science though, to a certain sense, because that makes me sound like I'm an atheist. I I have never. I'm not no scientist, and no scientist has been able to debunk these like certain religions. You know what I mean, like that either. So I can't believe them either. I don't. I just
Yeah, yeah.
in a neutral in a
Well,
neutral.
scientism in itself is a religion too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because your average everyday person is just going to believe a scientist out of blind faith just because
Yeah.
they wear a white lab coat and they have a fucking degree.
Like, what
And
did you
I
do?
don't, yeah, I don't buy that either, man. It's like, dude, like, there's so many fucking cures out there for diseases that they don't give us because they want us to be a lifelong customer to the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, that's a whole other thing. The pharmaceutical.
I've talked about this many times on this show, but like there's that, and like the fact that like holistic medicine works, like Ayurvedic medicine, all that stuff, it works, and people don't want to believe it because they'd rather believe in the science.
100%. My grandma, she's really big on the holistic medicines. You know what I mean? She grew up in St. Lucia. Like there was no access to these medications that we have now. And she hates them. And they diagnosed her with high blood pressure, and they said that she was borderline diabetic. So she went home and then made this like holistic plan. She was like, I'm gonna drink this celery juice and whatever the hell, eat this root. And what do you know? She goes back to the doctor a few months later, and she's no longer on the borderline of being diabetic, and her blood
There
pressure
you go.
is better. And I was like, that's just proof of you know what I mean? Like living a healthier lifestyle, and like these simple, in a way, like you do you think that pharmaceutical companies are killing us in a way with things that they're putting in the
Oh,
medication?
for sure. For
Yeah,
sure, dude.
but they're just not
Like,
talking
look at
about.
even just fucking regular Tylenol is bad for your liver.
It's horrible. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
And
that's
that's,
like over the counter shit, right?
well,
Like
why would you want to
anybody,
kill or hurt your customers that are going to be buying your thing for the rest of your life, you know?
right?
Is it just like it's an easy way, like it's a convenient type thing? You can just go grab a bottle of Tylenol. Man, they sell it at our work. You can just go grab a bottle and
Yeah.
pop a few, and your pain's gone. You know, it doesn't look at the bigger problem. It's not just because you're sick there. It's you have headaches because you're not getting enough sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have headaches because your iron is low, or certain things that you're not looking at that. You're just taking acetaminophen, and it helps with
There's
it.
there's people that will like just take every word the doctor says that comes out of their mouth, they'll take it as cold hard fact, and then they'll be like, okay, now, and then next thing you know, they're on like 12 different fucking medications, and each of these medications has a side effect, so you have to take another medication on top of it to get rid of that other side effect. It's just like a never-ending spiral of fucking death, dude.
And I feel like everybody's been
Yeah.
a victim of that. Like I was a victim of that for the longest time, man. I was I've been on countless like antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds. They tried to have me on medication for like ADHD and stuff like that. And through all of the medications I went on, there was a different side effect that made life even worse in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for example, the last one I was on that I went cold turkey, it was Zoloft, the biggest one. I was on Zoloft for a while. And that
People
one,
snort that shit.
it's crazy. And like, sure, did it get rid of like certain symptoms that I went there for? Yeah. But did it also make me feel like a zombie? Yeah. It made me feel like life was just all like boiled chicken. It was just bland as hell.
Right, right.
And it got rid of my creativity. You know what I mean? I feel like I couldn't write music on it. I
Yeah, it
couldn't
suppresses your creativity for sure. Yeah.
100%. I
And
was
sex drive, all that shit
right. That was a
fucks
huge
you
one.
up.
That was a huge one. I was in a relationship at the time too. So I was like, I can't explain to you why I just don't want this right now, you know?
And you're only 23, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, and there's a huge stigma behind being a young man, and bro, like when it comes to like we're talking about like sex drive and things like that, like there's try telling your girlfriend at 22, I was 21 at the time. Try telling her like I just can't have sex. I don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you tell her that, she's like, the fuck? Like
yeah.
normal guys our age are supposed to just be cavemen, you know? Just want sex all the fucking
I
time.
think males peak at like 17 or
Yeah,
something
for
like that. And
hormones.
females are like 24 or 25 or something.
I didn't
So
know
she
that.
was probably like horny as fuck. And you're like, I can't do this right now.
Not today. Just not today. And like I said, there's such a stigma about it that like you are scared to ask for help, and you feel not normal, you feel like wrong about it. And I it I got help, but it took me getting there to the point where I just couldn't. Like I just couldn't be bothered. And then I hopped off the medication, cold turkey, and what do you know? It was okay.
Yeah.
It was back to normal again. I just needed to change certain aspects of my life to make it better. Like getting more into music once I got off the medication was important. It was like my meditative kind of, but also my journaling. You know what I mean? Like writing these songs is basically a step in therapy checked off. Like just journaling your thoughts or whatever it is down and getting it out of your brain and onto some paper is the world of a difference. You know what I mean? That or like taking basic multivitamins that I wasn't taking before to that like vitamin C during the winter. Taking vitamin D is a huge one. Like
Yeah. I'm on D3 and B12.
D3 and B12. Those are
Yeah.
really important, 100%.
Yeah.
I was vegan for a while, and I didn't take
Sorry about that.
any. Listen, man, you know what happened actually? Everybody asked me why I did it. I was going like I was just 20 years old, just scrolling through TikToks, or it was like YouTube or something like that. And I saw this guy, his name is Earthling Ed, and I saw him debating a meat eater, like a avid carnivore meat eater. You know what I mean? And this meat eater sounded stupid. He just sounded so dumb to me. And I was like, you can't argue with the vegan right now. Anything he's saying, you can't argue with him, like about animals and what they go through, the animal abuse and whatever like that. I was like, you can't argue with it and you sound stupid. I was like, is that how I sound? I was like,
Right.
I need to stop. So that day, like that night, me and my ex, we woke up the next day and I was like, I'm going vegan. I was like, you can come with me or not. It doesn't matter to me. You do what you want to do. And she chose to do it with me, and we were vegan for like 2 years. I lost like 60 pounds. I was a
Holy
rake.
shit.
Yeah, I was a rake, man. I was unhealthy as hell. I didn't take any of the supplements I was supposed to be taking. Um, and it didn't turn out good for me, but
Yeah, because when you're vegan, you have to take the supplements too, right?
you have to. You have to. I don't care what
That's the thing. It's like it kind of fucking defeats the purpose,
it does.
right?
It does 100%. And I didn't see it at the moment. I was just watching videos of this. Okay, like I don't want to rich shame him, but this rich like YouTuber vegan that can afford to go to the store and get the fanciest of like vegan foods, or get or has the time to cook all these like elaborate dishes, you know what I mean? And pays for the supplements or whatever it is. And it's like in my mind, I'm like, I can do that too, but I couldn't, you know what I mean? I'm going to work 40 hours a week or whatever it is. I have no time to meal prep and things like that to eat the proper way that you're supposed to when you're vegan. I'm not saying it's not possible. You can do it. Like a vegan can support a healthy lifestyle just as much as a meat eater can, but it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work to
Right.
do that. And I still agree with some of it helped me because I still agree with a lot of the moral sides of being vegan,
Sure,
right?
sure.
The things that they do to the animals and like the factory farming industry and stuff like that. I'm really against it, man. And I hate that I'm a contributor of that. But instead of like instead of trying to like hide behind and say like, oh no, this is the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to eat meat. You're supposed to do this. I like to take a different stance and be like, no, I know what I'm doing is cruel. I know it's a bad thing, and I would like to change it eventually. I'd like to be better. I wish I could just hunt all my meat. You know what I'm saying? Like, go
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Because there's been like a
Because
desensitization of going to the grocery store, picking up this beautiful white little package with 2 chicken breasts. You kind of forget what had to happen for that. You know what I mean? You're just paying a hitman to kill the chicken. So many
yeah,
meat eaters I know, when you even mention killing like a fish or anything like that, they like squint and like close their eyes. They can't even imagine seeing it. And it's like you're that desensitized and spaced out from what's actually happening out there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And
and
the shit that they put in our meat at the average grocery store too is just fucking it's crazy, dude.
wild.
Like the best thing to do is to go to like a like a local farm or something and get meat that is actually properly treated,
Yeah.
properly fed, no hormones, none of that shit. Obviously, right?
Mm.
But they make it so fucking hard now, and it's like even the produce, man. Like even if you're vegan, it's like you're getting produce with like pesticide spray and shit on it, all that shit.
Have
So
you
it's
ever
like it's
rubbed an
so
apple?
hard to be fucking healthy right now.
It is. Have you ever rubbed an apple before? Like scraped
Yeah,
it?
the wax.
The wax on the apples, man. I know they have to do that for it to like last a certain period of time, but like, yeah, no, like you're saying, it's crazy. They make it hard. And I realize how good though we do have it here in Canada when you go to other places, man. Like I went to the States um like about a year ago. We went through New Hampshire and we went through this town that I couldn't believe my eyes, man. Like I went to a Walmart, and the Walmart they had cup holders on their carts for like sodas, like big cup holders
Really?
on their carts. And the price for pop was cheaper than the water. Like it was insane. I've never seen anything like that in my life. There was no fresh produce in this Walmart. We went there to get corn and potatoes to put on the barbecue, and there was no fresh produce. We asked them, and they were like, "This Walmart doesn't have that. It's all frozen food. As soon as you walk in, all of like the freezers are right there in the front. You go pick your frozen fruit." We asked for rice, and it took them like 20 minutes just to find rice because they didn't even know if they had it.
That's so weird.
I know. And I realized how good we have it though in Canada when I saw that. I was like, these people actually have no way to get like fresh food. And even if they did find the fresh food, you know how expensive it is? I paid almost
Right.
$4 for a peach in America. Like,
Right now, did you hear about the eggs in the States?
yes, the egg prices are
It's like $8 for a
skyrocketing.
fucking carton of eggs.
Wild.
Like, dude, man. And now fucking Doug Ford wants to uh prevent the US from getting our nickel.
Or oh, because of the tariffs that
Yeah.
he's putting
Yeah,
in,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is
So
just
we're in a war right now, a trade war, and it's like what the fuck's gonna happen, man? Like it's so I don't know what's gonna happen, to be honest. Like it's just we're living in the fucking craziest times, man.
I
Not
know
to
it's like a
mention, not to
stretch.
mention, like you know, uh, the transhumanist agenda thing, like the graphene oxide that's in people's fucking bodies that are like from the vaccines. Have you seen that?
Oh,
There's a video, man. I don't know if I posted in our group chat, but there's a video of like what it looks like inside the lungs of a vaccinated patient, and you see all these fucking metallic pieces like floating around and sticking to the insides of the lungs
is that like from
because
all vaccines, or is that just are we
no,
talking
from the mRNA.
the COVID one?
Yeah, yeah.
The COVID vaccine. Yeah. Did you get the COVID vaccine?
Hell no.
Oh man, I got it. I got 2 shots of it. Um, the first one was fine. The second one like made me sick as hell for a bit. Then
Right.
the sorry.
No, I said right. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard that too. Usually, it's the second one that gets people.
But I don't believe at the same time I don't believe that like they are trying anything malicious with these vaccines.
You don't
You know,
think so?
I don't know. I've thought about it, and it's like I said before, like, are they gonna try killing the people that make them rich? You know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe they didn't test it enough before giving it to us. That's possible, of course, because they only had a certain amount of time. We only like they made a vaccine after what, like a year of COVID. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they had no time to test it. And they just started giving it to people. So that could be argued. But like, is that malicious or were they trying to actually help us out? You know what I mean? Like they were trying to get this done and over with faster, but now people are going to suffer because they weren't tested. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about
Uh, have you? There was a TV show back in the late 2000s called. It was hosted by Jesse Ventura, the ex wrestler, and then he became governor of Minnesota. But he had a conspiracy TV show, and this nurse that he was interviewing warned him about what these people are trying to do. And she said there's going to be a fake virus and they're going to try to vaccinate people for it. And it's all in order to help us transition and turn our DNA, twist our DNA so that we're more compatible with AI. Like our bodies are more compatible with it so that we're like basically transistors for it. And she said that back in like 2008.
it. See, that's wild. Like when I hear that shit, that is wild. But like it takes me, it really, I don't know. I don't know. Like I would need to see some evidence of this, like in this too, like to believe it. You know what I mean?
There
Like
there is a lot of videos out right now saying like it's all coming out. This whole fucking what was in the vaccine, COVID was a fucking scam, all that shit, dude. Let me ask you something. Do you believe in um Do you believe that people are can be evil?
Oh, like born evil?
Not necessarily born evil, but like you're born a good person and then you get corrupted and then become evil.
Yeah, of course.
So, what would make you think that what these people are doing is not malicious,
That's fair. That's fair.
right?
But then
That's
that would have to mean that like not only like it wouldn't just be one person, you know what I mean? It's not just one person that makes this vaccine, tests it out. You know what I mean? It's not one person we're
that's
relying on. It's a
that's
team
why
of
they call
people.
it that's why they call it a conspiracy because like all a conspiracy, the definition of a conspiracy is two or more people making a plan, right?
Yeah.
It's they're conspiring. And I tell you, man, there's a book out there. It's it's basically showing how there's a huge, deep, dark fucking web like an octopus, and it's like those who control our reality and what we do and what we say, what we think. You know, freedom of speech has been taken away almost completely, and that's them doing that to us. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I see the freedom of speech thing 100%. Like I
and
don't
like
even
it goes against all fucking natural laws. So what they're basically trying to do is kill off natural law so they can keep their own laws in place to control us completely and go from one slave era to a next one.
Slater. So do you think that like they're trying to get it to a what's the name? We're in a democracy. Are they trying to make it like a conservative, not conservative, what the fuck?
Communism.
Communism, like a
Absolutely.
you're trying to yeah, trying to get it to
Yeah. And some people think communism is a good thing. And
yeah.
I say wherever communism was never worked.
I mean, it looks like
What
Russia,
makes them think it's going to work on a global fucking scale?
100%. I mean, it was the cause of all, you know, I mean, wars and everything that we've seen so far. So why would we continue to do
Some
it?
people would say religion was the cause of all wars, but I digress. I
That's fair.
disagree with that.
I mean,
I mean,
I
the
believe in yin
first
and yang,
is
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
like wherever positive is and resides, there's going to be that person or that group of people that are gonna take the other route. You know what I mean? There's always going to be that murderer or
Yeah,
whatever.
you can't have light without darkness and vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible. So like I don't think we're ever gonna be like a perfectly beautiful, peaceful country, but at the same time, yeah, no, I understand the freedom of speech being stripped. That's 100% happening. You know what I mean? Like Trudeau did that with
You see it every day where we
yeah,
work.
like how so at work.
Just like what we were talking about earlier, you can't talk to your fellow coworker for a certain amount of time. That's a small piece of the pie right there. But then you got people who can't take a fucking joke because they're offended by it,
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
right?
Or like we were talking about the how everything's black and white. Like if you talk to a person that has a maybe like not not agreed with opinion, you know what I mean? Like for example, like people having conversations with like people who are like we see as racist, you know what I mean? Racist or people with a religion or a belief that we don't necessarily all as a community agree with. As soon as you have a conversation with that person, you're associated as like being that person or being like okay with what they're saying. You know what I mean? Like, which
They label you. Yeah.
exactly, and that defeats the whole thing of like that. That's humans. You know what I mean? We have
Mhm.
conversations with people we don't necessarily agree with and try to find common ground in certain
Right.
senses because you can find a lot of common ground in people that did or have done horrible things. You know what I mean? Like fuck, like you watch those killer documentaries and or whatever, and people are addicted to those documentaries because not only are you like it's the unknown, right? You're exploring the mind of a deep, dark like sadistic psychopath or whatever, but it's also like you're like, damn, they grew up with similar conditions to me. You know what I mean? And what made them flip that switch?
Right.
That like I watch those all the time. Like for like I see they were victims of some were victims of sexual abuse or some were victims of just bullying, you know what I mean, all their lives. And it's like, well, I was bullied. You know what I mean? I was blank. I was blank. Why did they flip the switch and go do something like that so horrendously? Like we're both human beings. We're so similar in senses.
Yeah. Some people weren't given, they didn't grow up in the right environment, or, their parents were, there's so many different factors that would turn somebody into a psychopath, I think. But I think, I think, psychopathic tendencies are you're possibly born with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's been a few times in my life where I wanted to flip, but I didn't because I just knew it was wrong, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not gonna fucking slash my teacher's car or whatever, or like tires or whatever, right? Because it's wrong, you know? But there's people that will just do shit like that. Like, I'm gonna fucking slash his tires or key his car or fucking light a fire in his backyard and hopefully the house catches fire. Something like I know people like that have done shit like that. It's
And they
like,
just
dude,
don't
come on,
think.
man.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's like they just don't think about it. They just go
They
straight.
don't think twice. They just go right for it. Yeah.
Like have that little voice in the back of their head that's like, don't do that, you know, like I don't know. But yeah, you just said like you know people like that. And I know people like that too, where it's like what was wired differently. Like we grew up in the same situation or like similar situations. Every human is different, but what flipped that? And like you said, they might be born with it. I think that's 100% a possibility. Like I don't know I'm no psychologist, you know what I mean? But what I've heard from
Right.
the psychology podcasts and stuff that I listen to, like Kirk Honda and stuff like that, 90% of psychopaths are out there and they don't do anything. Like they know morally what's wrong. They go to therapy to help with empathy and get through relationships and things like that, but they don't actually flip that switch of doing something to somebody or hurting someone. But because of the way it's portrayed in social media and everything like that, as soon as you hear the word psychopath, you automatically it's like just go to murder and killing and all the darkest things that they have done in the past. Where if you just sat down and have a conversation with them, like you know what I mean, you might see that they are just humans too. You know what I mean? They're just wired.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not a all black and
It's like the same. It's like the episodes that you showed me about the pedophiles, right? It's
man.
like they there's people who are attracted to children, but they wouldn't harm a child.
Yeah,
But they're still labeled as a pedophile because of their attraction, right? So, but it doesn't mean they're gonna fucking act upon it, right?
yeah,
And when you listen to those interviews, you hear it. You hear the human side of them. And, like they can't help the fact that they have that, right? But does that make them a bad person if they don't act upon their desires? It's the
yeah.
same thing with a psychopath.
And just
It's
by you saying that, like on a pod, like just by you saying like or me saying to like I actually have like a little like with you it was easier to talk to about it, but like I don't tell anybody that I listen to that podcast or even like empathize to a certain extent because it's just so stigmatized of you cannot
absolutely, yeah.
associate with and even me listening to it I was like what the fuck am I listening to right now, you know what I mean, there's
Right.
that urge of like kill hang just like they're the
Sure.
sickest, most disgusting people, but it's like you just said like not I think Kirk said like 80% or so of pedophiles out there, there are a lot, you know what I mean, they don't offend. They just
Hmm.
and they're not happy about it either. They don't want that. They wish they could just be normal. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
it's a mental illness in a way that like needs they need help. And we're shutting down that asking for help thing, because they don't, understandably, they don't believe they can ask anybody for help. So that,
Well, we as humans, we would rather put on that T-shirt that says, has a gun and a bullet and it says pedocillin, right?
yeah,
Or throw them in the wood chipper. How about fucking sit down and have a fucking conversation without like wanting to fucking murder them for something they haven't even done yet, you know?
yeah,
Like we label all pedophiles as fucking dirty, disgusting, fucking uh, child molesters, when really some of them are, like I said, they're only attracted to children, but they don't act upon it. They don't
no,
even look at fucking porn or anything. And it's like, this is just a part of me and I can't help it, but I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to fucking hurt a child. It's the last thing I want to do. So what Kirk Honda does is he sits down and he has a fucking conversation, and then he draws out their points of view, and then he has feedback in order to try to help them, you know?
no, 100%.
Like,
I into that podcast with, man, I won't lie, I have that mindset. You know what I mean? I still have that in me. I'm sure
sure,
you do
of
too, of
course.
like,
That's
you said,
natural.
kill fucking, like, these are disgusting, burn them. You know what I mean? But I went into
That's the
that podcast.
natural that's the natural thought process of somebody who's normal. Like, oh, fucking kill that motherfucker,
Yeah,
right?
100%. And I went into that podcast with that mindset, being like, well, I'm gonna listen to this sick fuck make excuses about
Right.
why he does. And I didn't even know that, like, there was a non-offending pedophile going into that. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I, in my mind, was like, every pedophile obviously acts on it. So, you know what I mean? There's so when I heard that podcast, man, it opened my mind up a bit. I was like, okay, like, it's possible that, same with the psychopaths, like, it's possible for a psychopath to just get help that he needs, and like, care in a way, knowing that the mindset that they have is wrong, or what they're thinking about is wrong, and they want help. They want, like, they want connection. They want human connection, and like, we're making it worse in
And
society.
and hopefully maybe if people like that can open up to other people, they could have like an accountability partner or something, just like an alcoholic or something like that, right? Like where they have like dude, like I'm having trouble right now with my thoughts. Can you like talk to me or something like that? You
No,
know, instead of just like throw him in the fucking wood chipper or put a gun to his head, you know? It's like what about okay, even back I think we talked about this before too. Gay people back in the day, they had to hide in the closet because it was the same fucking thing. As soon as people would find out that they're gay, they'd beat the fucking shit out of them or something, you know?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like that's the thing. It's like such a heavy stigma that the only thing that we can do is off with their head, you know?
100%. One of the first things that I came across about this, like, these stigmas is self harm, like,
Mhm.
cutting yourself. Um, like, I struggled with it when I was younger, and there's such a heavy stigma. Like, they see that cutting your wrist, and you're like, you're crazy. You know what I mean? You're insane. But what's the difference between somebody who's cutting themselves for whatever reason, somebody cuts themselves, you know, to feel something or whatever it is, like that, and a alcoholic, a man that comes home every single day and has, like, 7 beers or whatever before going to bed? Like, hey, man, listen, what's
I
the
was
difference?
there.
Exactly, what's the
I
difference between
just
those two
stopped it.
people?
I'm a month sober now, and it's like, holy shit.
Congrats.
You know, it's like I didn't think I could do it, man. But then I felt like it was time,
Mm,
and it was my decision to make, and I just made the decision and haven't fucking touched a drop since. It's the same thing with smoking. It's the same thing with coming to Christ. It's
yeah,
like nobody can push you. You have to fucking make the decision for yourself.
100%. Same with, like, therapy or anything like that. It's one of those things that you, but yeah, there's such a heavy stigma behind cutting, as a, like, it's the worst, most damaging self-damaging thing that you can do. But it's not at all. There are much worse things that you could be doing to cope with something. but because of the scars and the blood and I don't know, it's so weird. It's so different than alcoholism is normal. You know what I mean? It's a normal thing. A lot of
Yeah, there's
people
like there's hardly any stigma about it, you know?
exactly like or same with even certain drug users like weed or you get into the heavier drugs, that's more stigmatized. But again, it's the same issue. It's just one's a little more, like more dangerous in a sense.
Yeah,
Like people are addicted to going to the gym, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but because they're going to the gym, it's viewed as like that's a good thing. It's a positive thing. You're doing something good for your body. But people that go to the gym for 6 hours a day and just kill themselves to the point where they can't move, that's
yeah,
also an addiction. You know what I mean? That's like you're just swapping it out for something else. But because it's the gym, it's like, oh, that's okay then. That's fine. But they're
right.
self-harming in a sense. You know what I mean? They're getting off
It's
by
like next time you see a bodybuilder, go up to him and say, "Are you aware that you have a fucking problem?"
yeah, you need help. You need help. No, for real. Or like yeah, I don't know. I find it interesting the how big stigmas take like a control over us. Of
Over a society as a whole. Yeah,
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 insane. Like it like with the pedophile thing, that's the one thing that all humans, most normal humans, collectively get together and hate. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like we can
absolutely.
stand side by side and
Yeah,
for the first time in
but
forever and say that.
another interesting thing about those interviews though was when he did uh, the follow up episodes where he's reading off the emails. And
Yeah.
a lot of people were like, "Holy shit, you really changed my point of view about people like that." You know, not
Ah,
saying I'm not advocating for any of this. Okay, I'm
me
just
neither.
saying like we should find ways to help people as opposed to just throwing them off a fucking cliff or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. And it's possible. Some people, like even me going into that podcast, I did not think it was possible for them to get help. So I was just like, you need to put them down like a dog. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's like it's sad, it sucks, but that's what we got to do because there's no helping these people. But
You've heard of the MAID system in
no.
Canada?
Oh wait, yes,
MA
the what's it called?
Medical Assistance in Dying.
Assistant dying. Yeah,
Yeah, that's where the pedophile should go, right?
yeah. No, like, and I mean,
Fucking lethal inject them.
now they can. I mean, they opened it up to mental health problems. That you can just go die now for mental health problems. That's a whole other thing. Like, I think that I don't know
How
why they.
about how about fucking put better mental health practices in place instead of
Yeah,
just fucking making them kill themselves?
100%. Like that's
I don't
crazy.
know. Maybe that's something we should look into.
I agree with it for people that are dying of terminal illness. I agree. I understand that. I think that is a freedom that they should deserve to have. Like, did you know killing yourself was illegal? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you killed yourself and it's illegal. Like you committed a crime. Like I don't know, but so I agree with that. But when they opened it up to like fuck, I could qualify. You know what I mean? I have diagnosed depression, anxiety, and ADHD. That's gonna last for the rest of my life. So I could qualify. I could just walk down there and do that. You know? And
Yeah.
in their minds, they're like, this gives an open door for you to do it healthily or safely. But it's like either way, you're killing yourself. Whether I do it in my room or I do it in a hospital bed, it's the same idea. And it's like it's like yeah, like you said, it's like they're taking the easy route. They're just like instead of helping these people, let's just fucking give them a way out of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's kind of scary, man. Like it's part of like a fucking dystopia, in my opinion.
It's like dystopia. What do you mean?
Dystopia meaning there's utopia and dystopia. Utopia would be like a perfect world, whereas dystopia is like a bleak future, like
Mm,
a bleak system. Uh, what was I going to say? Fuck, I lost my train of thought.
or it's bound to happen.
Marijuana affects the memory.
So you were saying dystopia and utopia, like you were explaining the differences between them. I don't know the differences between those two.
So dystopia is like a what we're headed into and what we're in right now, kind of, where we're all controlled by an authoritarian system.
Yeah.
Whereas a utopia would be more like everybody, like peace and love, and everything's like world peace and shit like that. That's a utopia.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
So we're going in the opposite direction,
We're
basically.
pretty much already in a dystopia.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we have been for a long time since people refuse to admit it. But I also believe that this world is hell or heaven, whatever you make of it.
Oh man, that was a thing I thought to myself too. Like a theory I had to myself a few years ago. I was like, if there is like a heaven and hell thing, it feels like this is a trial. You know what I mean? Like this feels like we, dude, life can really suck. Like you can like the easy way out is everywhere. It's all around you. You know what I mean? Drugs, alcohol, killing yourself. Like all, it's so easy
Yeah.
to in theory to just jump to those things, and they're just dangling around you, just like take me, take me.
All the time.
So I was like, in a way, if that's true in heaven and hell and everything, aren't we living in hell right now? And if you can find the light in hell and still push on and keep going, you pass the test. You know what I mean?
I think so. I agree with that. I mean, like, look at certain people, man. Like you and I, we have decent fucking lives. We're not millionaires or anything,
Yeah,
but we're generally happy people, right? But
100%.
there's other people out there living on the streets, fucking smoking crack, and they're in hell.
Dude, there's
There's
millionaires that are in
people who are
hell.
starving every fucking day, and they don't have a house to live in, and we got it good, right?
100%. We have,
But people don't have that perspective. They just think like everything's all fucking roses and butterflies and rainbows and shit.
or that we deserve that. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
what we are owed. But it's like,
Yeah.
what are we owed? Why are we owed that? Like, no matter, bro, there's some people out there that work their ass off and they just never get what they believe or feel that they're owed. You know what I mean? Or
Mm.
there's
That's
millionaires.
that's part of that's part of having a victim mentality too, though.
Oh, that's
Like
huge.
everything's all about me, and I had such a bad I was dealt a bad hand of cards and this and that. But if you could flip flop your mentality into a more positive way,
Mm-hmm.
you can be happy being homeless.
No, 100%. There are happy homeless people. I mean, I've
Mm-hmm.
seen them myself. I've had conversations with them. And there's also people that are way well off. You know what I mean? Have hundreds of thousands, millions to their name, and they're miserable, absolutely miserable. They
Absolutely.
have everything in your mind. They have everything, but you're so much happier, and in terms, it comes off as better of a person because of the hardships that you go through. You almost like know more about life skills and stuff. Like I know some of my friends are well off. Like their parents saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars. They don't work. You know what I mean? They're 20 something and they have never had a job in their lives. They're
Trust fund kids.
trust fund kids. And dude,
Yeah.
in my mind, like
They're
something
fucked
in my
up,
head,
aren't they?
yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
part of my mind is like they're lucky, but another part of my mind is like, dude, they have no life skills, zero.
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense, I would be the lucky one because I can say that like when a tough situation arises or whatever it is, I have the tools necessary to get through that. I might not have the
Sure.
money, but they have the money. They just don't have the life skills or whatever it is. Like they've gone through college, they've had everything paid for, and they're like, why can't I get a job? It's because like, bro, you have nothing on your resume. Like
Yeah.
just working at a Tim Hortons for a year shows time management skills, organization, whatever it is that you need.
Yeah.
A piece of paper from college just says you had the money and and you know what I mean.
I think it's better to have a level head than an inflated head.
Oh, 100%. 100%. You'd be walking down here on earth with the rest of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a
I
huge.
also think it's funny that your shirt matches your chair.
Oh my bro, I was just thinking about it. Like when I sat here and looked at myself, I was like, damn it, they're not gonna be able to see my body. Like separate. Kind of just
you look
blends in.
you look like you're bigger than you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Like here's the dimension.
Like if I was on acid right now, I'd totally think you had like really broad shoulders.
Hopefully somebody watching is. You know what I mean? They just think I'm freaking jacked. But yeah, of course I chose this shirt. to wear this
I know,
time,
right? That's
of course.
hilarious.
Oh
For
man.
those, yeah, that's too funny. Um, yeah, but like basically, this whole world is a corporation, man. It's one gigantic corporation, and when you work for a corporation, it's like you're being treated with that same authoritarian style. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So, like the way that the world is trying to control, like the elites are trying to control people. It's the same way from the top down. When you work at a corporation, they try to control you. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And we're
Yeah.
not saying where we work, we're just saying where we work.
Yeah. We work for a corporation, I mean,
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
corporation. And
Hmm.
I mean, like, it's, I think about this all the time. Like, our supervisors or our managers, you know what I mean? They always expect us to be absolutely perfect. You know what I mean? Like, never show up late, whatever it is. But they're human beings too. You know what I mean? They go home and they have flaws, mistakes. Like, I want to say to them all the time, they're like, if I showed up late, which by the way, I've been working there for almost 6 months. I've been late twice. You know what I mean? I've never been said anything about it. But the times I did show up late, it was a big deal that I was late. But it was like, have you never been late ever?
Right,
Like,
right.
I want you to tell me that you've never been late, or you've never been like, oh shit, I have something to go to. Can I punch out a little early? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm,
And
hmm.
we're held at such a high standard, but with time of them working there, their standard has gone lower and lower and lower. Like, there's some supervisors there, man, that I'm just like, bro, you make so much money, and you don't hold yourself to the standards that we as like minimum wage workers hold ourselves to. You know what I mean? Or are made to hold ourselves to. So does that make it that the longer you work at a place, the the less that's expected of you, or the more money you make, the less is that's expected of you? That makes no
It
sense to me.
it seems that way to me in most places that I've worked.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're a manager, it's like, okay, I'm a manager now. Less stress, more money, more barking orders at people. If I see something that needs to be done, I don't have to do it. I can just tell somebody else to do it now.
Pass it on to someone else. It's such a shitty
Yeah.
mind state to have, though, because like in my
But
mind, I'd like to think I'd be the opposite, but I don't know, right? So it's like in my mind, I'd like to think that when I become a manager or supervisor of one of these places and I'm making $36 an hour, I would like to think that that money would motivate me to, and be even better. Like, these supervisors and managers should be held to an even higher standard than us,
sure.
100%. Like, if they're late one day, it's way more important than us being late one day.
Well, we don't see the things that go on with them either. You know what I mean?
That too, yeah, that's a whole other thing. Like, we don't see the
I do know they get pretty they get in pretty bad shit when they fuck up. But I think one of the main problems in any place of work is the way that managers speak to you,
yeah,
because I don't understand how their mentality works. If you are going to yell at me for something or say that I'm not doing a good enough job or give me shit when I'm already busting my ass, it's not going to make me want to work harder for
I agree, 100%.
you. If a manager has the opposite approach, where like, oh, guys, you're doing such a fantastic job, uh, but can you do a little bit more? Like, just be nice. If
Positive
you can just
reinforcement,
be nice, yeah, then I'm going to want to work. But for
100%.
the most part, most of the people I've ever worked for, they just bitch. And it's like, okay, well, I don't care about your bitching.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not going to make me work harder. But if you speak to me nicely like an actual human being, then I'm going to put in the work because I'm working for you essentially. So if you treat me nice, I'm going to want to work harder for you.
100%. Like, I
But
like the way
the
some
mentality is opposite.
It is.
They think by yelling at you and giving you shit and writing you up for the stupidest little thing is going to motivate you.
Oh, yeah, like I'll do better now because of no, like that sends me
I
home and
just got in shit. Yay. I'm going to
yeah,
work hard now. It's like, no,
that puts me
I'm
in the
fucking,
shittiest of moods
yeah, I'm
ever.
going to fucking, I'm going to be like walking around pissed off now
Yeah, a whole different like now
because
I'm
you gave
not
me shit for something fucking stupid.
there's no respect there. Now I'm just pissed off and I'm doing what I have to do. Where like that's the mind state I have rather than doing it because I want to do it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
pushing you to do better. Like some of our supervisors, the younger ones actually, are my favorites because they are just regular humans with you. You know what I mean? They come
Mhm.
up to you, they'll ask you like, they'll be like, "Yo, I need you to do this because they're on my ass about this, honestly, man." And I
Right.
can't like, I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't want to give you shit. Like you do your job, like
And that approach will make me go, I got you, man.
exactly. And that's how
Yeah.
I respond every time. But the people that managers that come and bitch to me, I'm just like, it was in one ear and out the other. You know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah.
like it's just like okay, I'll take the bitching and
Would you like to do this for 8 hours today? I didn't think
exactly.
so.
I didn't think so, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's an opposite mentality that they should have, that they do have. And it's like it's gotta be changed, man. It would make everything so much more smooth.
I would like to think so too. Yeah, 100%. Like then again, I'm not a manager. I'm not a supervisor. I don't know the the what made them that way or what pushed them. Maybe they were like that at one point and something flicked and they were like, all right, I need to
Dude,
be harsh with these people.
I've seen people, this old place I used to work at, this girl came in, she was a new girl, and she was so sweet. The sweetest person, super friendly. Little did I know she was vying for a supervisor spot, and as soon as she got that supervisor spot, it was it was good and then evil right away.
Night and day.
Yep, and I'm like, wow, you're a cunt.
Yeah, like you put up this whole facade of being a
Yeah,
regular human being and just to get to that position.
yep.
That's sad. That's part of the
Like literally, the smile was wiped away from her face instantly. As soon the
wild.
first day she became a supervisor, and then it was like total fucking cunt to everybody.
Do you think that that's the way like she was like that the entire time? Like just secretly?
Probably.
Or is that like do you think that like the managers and supervisors go through so much shit that they because like some of the supervisors we've worked with that I'm talking about, the good ones, they have their days, you know what I mean? Just like as any other human does, where they're dicks. But some of them are stuck in that all the time. Like
Right,
they're
right.
always like that. And I can respect having an off day and being like in a shitty mood or whatever it is. I get that. That's a human being thing. But do you think that they slowly with time just get worn down to where they have to be like that?
Uh some of them I think
Yeah.
get worn down, like their soul gets sucked out of their body, right?
Yeah, for real. Like actually.
I mean, because like I try not to let my soul get sucked out. I try to put my armor on all the time.
Especially in our work, you have to do that.
Yeah, yeah. And but like, dude, like you know me, like I'm a pretty fucking happy-go-lucky guy, right? But then once something, if somebody says the wrong thing to me, dude, it just it gets under my skin, and I'll constantly be like talking to myself about it. I'll be walking around going, "Fucking dick," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it irks me so bad. So I highly recommend anybody not say the wrong thing to me. You know?
That's fair. I think anybody would.
Yeah.
Anybody
And
that doesn't know.
I've honestly I've said things to certain people that I shouldn't have said things to like that, but I can't help it because I'm not gonna fucking sit there and take a punch to the fucking jaw and then not retaliate. You know what I mean?
100%. 100%. And like I said, in our work, we are expected to do that. You know what I mean? The other day, this uh I was on cashier. I was with the cashier. Like I was just, she was on cash. I was packing for her.
You're fudge packing?
Yeah, punch packing. And this guy came in, and when he got to the cash register, she was like, "Oh, this has to be added. You know what I mean? We need to add this payment to it. It's necessary for you to go through with your payment." He lost his mind. He looked at his wife like with like "I'm gonna kill you" eyes. Like he started calling her a stupid bitch. And then the
His wife?
cashier, yeah. And then the cashier was like, "I need to add this." And he's like, "Go ahead, fucking add it. Do your fucking job." And she's like, "Okay, like I don't know what you want me to like. I'm sorry." And then he's like, "Just fucking do it and add it, you stupid bitch." And I was sitting there with every bone in my body. Like I just wanted to rip this. You know what I mean? Like we should be able to at that point refuse sale, get the hell out of here. But like
Yeah.
I find myself zipping my mouth and not saying anything about it because even though my human urge is to do the exact opposite, I want to like just rip into this guy, but it's not worth losing my job over or anything like that.
No, no.
But it's still like uh, we're expected to just take that, you know, take that punch and
Yep. Zip it.
walk off. Yeah.
Yep.
We gotten good at it though. That's another thing that's kind of nice. You know what I mean? Working where we've worked, we've got really thick skin. So
Yeah. When something like that happens, I usually kind of just like turn my back from it and
it,
listen and be like, holy fuck. You know what I mean?
100%.
Or
100%.
look at somebody else and go, can you believe this shit?
Yeah, you almost have to kind of like laugh. It's the only
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
to get through with it.
No, you definitely need a good sense of humor.
100%. Well, that's what I like about where we work out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not always inside, but
Yeah.
I enjoy being. It's a little more freedom, even though it's just a little bit. It's enough freedom where, you know what I mean? Like, I like my coworkers better out there, and it's just like every coworker outside, most like 99% of them, I like. You know what I mean? But inside, you see a different side of people, and you're just no, no.
People always ask me inside, why don't you fucking get a position inside? I'm like, no thanks.
Because you've been there for so long, you could. You
Yeah,
definitely could.
I've been inside before.
Oh, where? Oh, I can't really. Where?
Yeah, I've been inside for a year when I first
Okay,
started, and then once I got outside, I was like, okay.
like at the
And
front.
people like look down on us like we're the fucking bottom of the barrel. But I'm like, no, I'm good.
I honestly like them thinking that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
It kind of
okay.
it pushes me to like I don't know. In the beginning, yeah, obviously, like there's still part of me that hates when people look at me like that. When I'm just like I'm a human being, but at the same time, it's like you look at me like I'm the underdog. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where it gives me this mentality of like you have actually no idea.
Yeah,
Like
guess what? I'm at top rate, so I make more money than you.
yeah, no, 100%, 100%. It's work is wild.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I mean, I've worked at some places that were like a million times worse.
Oh, 100, same with me, 100%.
And I tell all the kids that start there, I'm like, and when they start complaining, I'm like, I get it, man, but dude, there's way worse out there. Trust me.
I've been in like the trade jobs. You know what I mean? I've been like, if you think you got it bad here, like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, imagine we have our certain like people in manager positions or whatever that we don't like, but we don't always have to deal with those people, you know? Like
right.
you can avoid it at most cost. When you're working like trades or anything like that, you're answering to that one person. Like
Yeah,
if you don't like them, that sucks.
you're
Like
fucked. Yeah,
you're fucked. Like so I mean and that and on top of that, like where we work there, it's a corporation, so they have to be serious about like worker laws and things like that. Where I've worked in places that they don't give a single fuck about like
right.
right to refuse. You're funny. There's no such thing as that. That doesn't.
Would you say your ultimate goal or dream would be to make music and break free from working for somebody else?
Now, yes, 100%. That would be my ultimate goal. I would be happy making minimum wage as a music artist like on my own, like
Like a livable income.
yeah, just getting by with music than making 40 an hour somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Working underneath somebody and feeling like at any moment in time this can be ripped away from me. If this place goes under business, whatever, like you never know, right? Like I would rather uh I would much rather be free and do something that I love every day rather than showing up to go to work doing something I don't really necessarily care about. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
so eventually, sure, that would be the idea of it. But music makes me so happy that even if that doesn't happen, I'm okay. Like I'm happy in
Right.
the
Right.
sense that like I still the job is done. Like the journaling or the venting and being able to express myself freely for this 2.5 minute song, like that makes me so happy that I'm okay either way it goes. Of course, it would be nice, but the
Yeah.
world we live in, man, it's difficult. It's
Most, and to be honest, man, a lot of bands out there right now are, they have your mentality. Like they're not rich. They're just doing what they love doing, just because they love doing it. And if the money comes later and the success comes later, then so be it. It's like
yeah,
me doing my show, 181 episodes right now. It's a lot of time put in,
that is a lot.
considering each episode is like 2 or 3 hours long, and I got to do all the work to put it together. I'm not making shit off of it, except for the satisfaction of doing it.
100%. And you're passionate about it. And doing it on your own free time, like when you're going out of your way to do this on your free time where you could just be slugged out on the couch or whatever it is you like sometimes you do want to do. Sometimes you don't want to make music. Sometimes you don't want to do a podcast. You just want to chill. Like eh, it just makes you that much it's so much more gratifying. You know what I mean? When you take
Yeah,
time out of your 3 hours you have to yourself after you get home from a long day of work to put in to something like this, and it feels like less work. Like I could be making music for 8 hours straight, and I don't feel nearly as worn out or shitty as I feel when I come
yeah,
from a long shift. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
but in a sense, I'm putting in the same amount of work. It's just it's what I choose to do. That's the best thing. You're choosing to do this to yourself, or
Right. That's the thing, dude. Like I'm still doing, I'm a gamer. I love music. I love watching movies. I love entertainment, you know.
oh yeah, yeah.
But I also love like the creation process.
Mm,
And that's the thing. Like I feel like where we work, it's just like, okay, I'm making somebody else rich, you know?
we go again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I mean, it's not bad, but I want to, I want to be able to do what I want to do and make a living, you know?
yeah.
That's
And
why I say support my Patreon if you can,
yeah,
and listen to Dacien's music. Like and follow and subscribe and see what he's going to do in the future, you know?
would mean the world. Would mean the world. Real like
Do
that's
you,
another thing. Like at work, I try to take back any freaking morsel of time I have to myself. So like what I love about where we work in our corporation is that we can be in our heads. You know what I mean? Like where in the other positions you can't necessarily. You got to be actively thinking about
yeah,
what you're doing, or you could really fuck up. Where ours, it's like dude, most of the time I'm spent in my head, whether that's making melodies or thinking about what I'm gonna do on my day off or the time I like music in general. That's like I can't tell you how many songs I've written in the bathroom at work. You know what I mean? Like I cannot tell you, dude. One of the songs I sent you, "One Last Cigarette," dude, I wrote that in like 10 minutes in the bathroom at work. It just came into my
right.
mind while I was doing what we do, and like use every morsel of the time that you have, like your off time at work, to think about like this podcast or like who you want to, what questions
Yeah,
you
yeah,
ask or things like that. You know,
sure, yeah.
because you like if they're gonna take everything from you, you know what I mean. You might as well like find ways to fucking to to do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like what makes you happy.
Absolutely.
And what were you gonna say? You were gonna say something, but then I went on.
I don't remember. I
Oh,
was gonna say though, I was listening to an interview with Paul Stanley from Kiss,
mhm.
and he was saying like the question was asked to him like, did you start a rock band in order to like enact to be like I told you, like I told you so. I
Yeah,
told you I was gonna be something like a vengeance kind, like a revenge kind of thing, my revenge mentality.
yeah.
It's like, did you get into the rock business to take revenge on the people that told you that you couldn't make something of yourself? And he said that was like probably 75% of it.
It's just trying. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. Just to fucking show people that you were more than capable of doing something greater with your life, you
Do
know?
you feel like you agree like you're with that?
When it comes to music, yes. When it comes to this, no. This is different. This is more like I want to get truths out there and use my voice to help people learn a few things. You know what I mean? Learn
Uh,
some of the things that I've learned, and the guests that come on learn what they have to say, right? Hopefully, they take something with that. And, I've had people reach out to me and said, dude, because of you, I started my own podcast. That to me is worth doing what I do.
100 that so that's what I was going to say about the so I agree with what he was saying in the interview. I That's 100% part of it. No matter what any artist tells you, that is like, I don't know, like depending on the person is what depends on the percentage. You know what I mean? He was 75%. For me, I want to say that's like minimal. That's 10%
Right.
of the
Yeah.
reason.
Okay.
And some people would argue that that is what holds me back from my full potential, because I have some friends, for example, that like are into music as well, and they every time we meet up, we can't just hang out. It has to be some next conversation about how we're gonna make it, and we need to push and do better, and make it like. And I understand that. I love that mentality. That's why I keep them around me to push me to do better in that sense. But I'm more of the just chill back dude. I'm just like, man, let's just enjoy the moment of us hanging out here. We can make music. We're gonna make music, but like, and again, some people would say that that's procrastinating, or that's not letting you reach your fullest potential. But it's like, if I'm not having fun doing what I'm doing, and if I'm constantly vengeful and thinking I'm gonna fucking show these people, if I'm constantly doing that, then it just takes the whole fun out of what I'm doing, and how much I love it. Like, I love what you just said, like the connection part. The reason I
Yeah.
started writing music was because I needed to vent what was going on in my brain. I just needed to fucking get it out. And then I heard an artist say something in one of his songs that made me feel less alone. I felt like, holy shit, like it's not just me that thinks this way, or says, or thinks a certain way about like it was depression at the time. Like, I was like, I feel less alone hearing this person talk about his problems, because he was just a very real artist. He didn't use metaphors and things like that. He just straight up told you what was going on in his head. And that's what inspired me to, I was like, I want to connect with people like that. I want to make people feel less alone. When I say a certain thing that's relatable, I want them to be like, yes, like fuck yeah, that's how I feel. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's what I noticed all my music is about. All my music is, I listen to a big array of music, and all my playlists are designed like on moods that I'm feeling. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I listen to this artist when I want to relate to this part of me, whether that be your inner child that's really angry, or whatever it is. Like, and that's what makes me want to make music, not the vengefulness I find as much. Like, that's part of it for sure. But I'm already doing that in a way. You know what I mean? By making the music and putting it out there, and being and having the balls to put out my opinion, and it doesn't matter if I'm famous or not. I'm already doing what they say I couldn't do. You know what I mean?
That's a lot of people get driven by people telling them that they can't do something.
Mhm.
Oh, really? Let me show you.
Yeah.
Right? I was told by some close friends that I couldn't sing,
Oh yeah.
but I can. And people were like, "Well, if you're gonna start a rock band, you should learn how to sing first." I'm like, I can. Like, That's not going
What
to stop me, you know?
what I say to those people is like, dude, like, what I love to think in my head is like, what are you doing? What
Yeah.
are you doing? You know
What are
what I mean?
you
Like,
doing? Yeah.
exactly. Like, go ahead, hop up on the mic, bro. Spit better than
Yeah.
me. Whatever you're gonna do better than me. You, a person can be, dude. There's so many examples of these people in the music industry that don't necessarily have the best voice in the world, but they're
There's some
writing.
shitty fucking bands out there that make it.
Exactly. There's some, but it's the writing, you know what I mean? Or their unique voice that changes everything. Or there's so many factors that come into one of my biggest examples of this is I don't know if you know who Tyler the Creator is.
Of course.
Tyler the Creator, he admittedly self says, I am not some great rapper and I'm not the best rapper in the world. I'm not the best singer by any means. Like I'm shit at singing. But all the work he puts into his production and his mixing and mastering at the end, that's what stands out. You know what I mean? And he's
And
doing
he's fucking doing something.
100%. He's doing something about it. Like he found his niche and his sound and still's going on with it. So people could argue like, yeah, you got to learn how to sing before you become like what's it called? Become a rock star. But it's like, do I? Do I really?
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get better with practice and
Bob
trying.
Dylan couldn't sing for shit.
Perfect example. Like it's I don't know. It's funny how quick people are to give you advice.
Try to
And
derail you from doing what you want to do
yeah, it's
because
so
they're not going to do anything.
exactly. It's phenomenal to me. Um, I have some friends that give honest, good advice. You know what I mean? And I like to keep myself around those type of people that give me honest, good advice. If I'm shit in this song, tell me I'm shit. But
Right.
now keep in mind, I'm also like, I've had friends tell me like, I don't like this song very much. And I'm like, okay, that's fine that you don't like this song very much. But at the end of the day, I love the song and I'm still going to put it out, whether you like it or not, because man, we're all just going based off of our taste or our feeling or our
Yeah.
opinion on something. I've had people tell me this song changed their opinion on something or like and then you have people next to me that are my friends saying no this song is shit and I'm like all right I respect your opinion bro but at the end of the day like I'm gonna do what I want to do and I'm gonna put out what I
I
think's
would
good.
just laugh it off.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like
Because it doesn't matter. I've said this time and time again. It doesn't matter what you do that is above and beyond the norm.
mm,
One person's going to love it, the other one's going to hate it. A
100%.
thousand are going to love it, 10,000 are going to hate it,
No
or
matter
vice
what.
versa. Doesn't matter what.
100%. It makes it difficult for some people to like accept that judgment. I remember the first time that I had my friend say like, "This is shit." You know what I mean? I felt awful. I was like, "Oh my god!" But then like I had that mix of like I had some people telling me it was amazing, and then I was wondering if these people were lying to me when they were telling me it's amazing. You know?
Just,
And I
just,
was,
just to, you know, rub your shoulders a little bit.
exactly, and
Like, this is fucking terrible, but I love this guy anyway, so I'm just going to give him a massage.
exactly. Yeah,
You
it's
know?
great, man. It's great. What you're
Yeah.
doing is great. And I didn't want people doing that, but I also didn't want people just straight up utterly hating on everything I do. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this, bro. I'm done with overthinking this shit. If I keep doing that, I'm never gonna put anything
You're
out.
never going to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Just fucking do it. And that's where um my friends are pointing out to me the songs that I have. I have, dude, I have dozens of songs. I was supposed to release an album months ago. I keep getting in my head. I keep overthinking about like, oh, is this good? Is this actually good? Some days I smoke and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I'm so happy I made this song. And then the next day I wake up and I hear it and I'm like, bro, what the
That's because
fuck?
you're not high anymore.
Yeah, like what the fuck did I do? Like, I don't know. And it can really make you overthink, especially as an artist. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Stepping in
Like, you,
there,
you just got to do it, man. That's all.
that's it. Yeah.
It's simple. It's a simple thing, but like stepping outside of yourself and just doing it can be the hardest step for most people.
and fully submersing yourself into it too. Like a lot of people do it with one foot out the door already. You know what I mean? They're ready to just run back and hide into their shell, or
Yeah. Yeah.
like they're already like they're halfway. They're only halfway in. If you actually just fully submerge yourself into it, man, and be ignorant, be ignorant of the
Yeah.
other side of that fucking door, because I don't know. At the end of the day, whatever's on the other side of that door is what's stopping you from doing it. Like
Or
man,
it's waiting for you to do it.
or it's waiting for you to do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Uh, I'm gonna we're gonna wrap up now because I'm getting a little sleepy-ish. But
Understand, brother.
where can my audience find you? Do you want them to listen to your music? I can put the links in the show notes.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you find. You search up my name, the first name, I'm gonna be the first one that comes up. Thankfully, my name is unique. It's easy to find. I only have a couple songs out right now. I have a couple songs out also with my collective called Shrug. Um, you can find that also anywhere. I'd love for everyone to have a listen and see if they like it. I have a lot more on the way. And oh yeah, man. Thank you for having me on. Was
Yeah, dude. And thanks for coming on, and I'll see you soon.
You'll see me soon. We should do another one sometime though. There's so much more I want to talk about. We should
Yeah,
do
for sure, dude. For sure.
100%.
Okay, man. Well, I'll see you soon, and until then, take it easy.
You too, brother. You too.